towns with Prince in the name that are not, like if you go north in British Columbia, a lot of towns named Prince and then something, and they're all towns that a prince would vomit with rage at being forced to see.
By the way, just to throw in there, my favorite Canadian town when Jonathan Chichu was on the Sharks, he was from Moose Factory, Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Moose Factory.
Moose Factory. All right, so
that's where they build the moose.
You killed a lot of guys.
No, there were guys, but there were some great comedians, obviously, that I got to come up with. Canadian comedians who people know. Some guys that have moved down here. Lachlan Patterson is one.
Yeah, he's been in here. Tall drink of water.
Yeah, he's great. He took me on the road early on in my career and kind of helped me out with a lot of joke writing and just kind of because when you go from a metropolitan area, if you come up in a city, the first time you go to these, blue collar working class towns, there's a bit of adjustment that needs to happen in your material. You can't just be like, "Hey guys, I'm a little guy from the city. Taught how to date girls." They're all like, "I lost my hand in a factory." This is not a problem I can relate to or care about.
Wow.
So that was a great experience to get to go with him. And then there's some incredible Canadian comedians, I think, that never really made it down here. There's a guy named Erwin Barker, who I loved. He is dead now, but not murdered. Died peacefully on his own terms. No, he was an incredible writer and comedian, and then also a comedian named Brent Butt, who he has a television show called Corner Gas, which was about a small town in Saskatchewan, and it was the longest running Canadian sitcom. He was sort of like a big comedy star in Canada. And
Brent Butt.
Yeah, Brent Butt is his name. Great writer.
Another funny Canadian I like sounds like him, Ian Bagg.
Ian Bagg, yeah. He's great. He had kind of moved to LA before I started, so I didn't get a chance to work with him much. But the few times I have seen him, and I see him now when I'm in LA, he's great. Just one of the funniest out there.
I remember Arj Barker when he's from Marin, and he used to go to the Punchline and do Sunday mics, whatever. And he said one time he did his set, and it was just crickets, not a hee a tee nothing. So he got off stage, and he said, he goes, "You know what? F this. I'm done. I'm getting a job." And he said some comedian pulled him aside and said, "F this audience. That was really good. Don't give up. You got to keep writing." And he said if that guy hadn't grabbed him, he might have quit. So did you ever have any close calls like that?
Yeah, I think so. My first, very early on, my first time at a proper comedy club, because you start out, you do these coffee shop shows and little open mics, and then I got booked at a real comedy club downtown, big city, and they had me on 2 weeks in a row. The first week I did fine, but then the second week. There was I didn't know how to hold the microphone properly, and it was
you held it upside down.
It was too quiet. I was holding it too far away from my mouth. Since then, I've had a problem with talking too loudly into microphones. Maybe we'll talk about that in therapy someday. But
you're doing all right here so far.
Okay, good. The monitors help. The crowd got impatient, and they booed. They started booing. So they booed me off stage, which I have not. I assumed, it's my third time doing stand-up, basically. And I'm like, this probably happens once in a while. In my 20 years now, I've never seen a comedian get booed till they left. Like that, I feel like I'm the last guy, maybe, to be booed off stage. But, of course, I was like, oh, okay, so I'm done comedy now. I can't do this anymore. And the guy who was hosting the show, he was like, these idiots don't know what's going on. Don't listen to them.
Well, the other mystery is you'll do the first show and then the late show, and the first show crushes. People are, crying. They're rolling down the aisle. They're jumping out windows. Same set. No laughs.
Yeah, sometimes.
That's got to be really weird.
Oh, yeah, it's very strange. And that's something you have to learn, I think. As you get further on in comedy, you kind of have these little rules. I always have a rule where I don't apply the same judgment to the late show audience that I did to the early show audience. These people weren't at the late show. They don't know that we just had the best time ever. You go on a date with somebody, you don't think about the last person they were with and how great they were. You don't know who you got to be like, I'm the best one they've seen in a little while. Well,
I also hear comedians tell me, they'll lean into a bombing and, embrace it.
Yeah.
To quote Joe List again, but he says that he'll tell 2 jokes that hit, and he'll think, I'm the greatest comedian that ever lived. The next one doesn't, and he says, I need to kill myself and quit comedy. Then the next one hits. Do you?
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on in a comedian's head while we're on stage.
You ride that wave?
Just real ups and downs of like, I can't believe how great I am, and then I don't know what I'm doing. I should have gotten a job doing concrete like my brothers.
But nowadays, it's funny because it used to be the liberal crowds would laugh at everything, and the conservative ones didn't. And now the liberal ones have all these rules, and the conservative ones, most of them don't care. And so you have the dichotomy of somebody laughing through Holocaust jokes, but then a trans joke, they stand up, hey, you can't say that. And it's just got to be.
Yeah, I think there's always a middle ground, because I think there's people on the far right that are also very upset about.
If you joke about Jesus or something.
Or even just, if you have religion involved, or even just like if it's not in line with what they believe, whatever the last conspiracy podcast they listened to told them that they should cheer about. So I think that there's problems in every level. I think the main issue is just people who like aren't there to have a good time. Right. I find it crazy that people come to a comedy show without first deciding this is going to be fun.
Right.
Like, to come to a comedy club with the attitude of, like, we'll see. We'll see if this is good. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you, a restaurant reviewer?
I root so hard for the comedians to be good. And
yeah.
one time, the feature was way better than the headliner. Like, you never know.
Oh, yeah.
And that was very weird. But, so for people who can't get to the punchline this weekend, tell us about your YouTube special, please.
Oh, yeah. I shot a special a couple years ago that is on YouTube for free. Anybody can watch it. It's called Popcorn. It's released on the 800-Pound Gorilla Media Network's YouTube channel. There's a lot of great specials on there. But, watch mine first and then explore a little bit. And I'm gearing up for another special shooting later this year. So
is it the hour you're on right now, then?
Yeah, that's the hour I'm working on now. So if you watch the Popcorn special, it'll be different stuff than you see this weekend anyhow.
Is it sometimes like when you do a late night set or something where you're on TV, and then they'll try to change 1 or 2 words and it can throw you? And I'll give an example. Mark Norman, he was a bedwetter, and one of his jokes was, he woke up in the morning and he had been at a friend's house and it was all urine. And his friend said, what happened? And he goes, looks like somebody spilled a cup of piss. And they said, you can't say piss, you have to say urine. He goes, that won't be funny. Looks like someone spilled a cup of urine. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
But it's just funny how you'll fight for that word.
Oh, for sure. I'm very big on, like, the comedian's cadence is a very important part of it. The words we choose. Even just the way some words feel in your mouth are funnier than other words, The
tempo, right?
You find all these little things that go into it. It's more. That's why if you read, like, sometimes you'll do a festival or something and they make you type out a transcript of your jokes. Reading your jokes on paper without hearing them said is like torture. Like, I feel like if you wanted a comedian to jump off a building, you could just hand them a transcript of their act and be like, here's your jokes, read them. And you're like, this is horrible. I'm the worst writer that's ever lived. And conversely, if you read something that's very funny, sometimes if you say it out loud, it loses a bit of the punch.
And a lot of times, we only got a minute here, but like Tom Green came out and he laid on the stage and he put his face in a table of a couple. He goes, you married? And he goes, oh, he's just a friend. And for the next 10 minutes, he did the friend, he did the friend, he did the friend, he did the friend, he did the friend. Now, if anyone else does that, it's not funny. But he's doing it, and it's funny. What's that transcript? He did the friend, he did the friend. But you didn't know he was going to say that. Right? Yeah. All right, everyone get down to the Punchline Comedy Club on Battery Street, punchlinecomedyclub.com for tickets to see Ivan Decker. A show tonight, 2 shows tomorrow, 2 shows Saturday. Thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Great stuff. Coming up next, Tracy McGrady.